What's up, YouTubers? This is Boss Vlogs coming to you with another YouTube video. Today's video is going to be a review of Black Ops 4. Now, this game has been out for officially a week, actually, as I'm doing this recording. And we'll just touch base on a couple of things about the game, some of the things that I like, some of the things that I dislike. We'll talk about some of the pros and cons, and we'll also talk about the future of Call of Duty's franchise. So, this is going to be totally my opinion, my experience. I originally made a video for this, I want to say a couple days after the game came out. However, I ran into some technical difficulties, but what it allowed me to do is actually dive deeper into the game and, do a review a little bit later. So I think going forward, it's best to kind of do 1 week reviews. So get the game and actually play it for a solid week and then be able to bring back something for you guys to take a look into. As you'll notice in the background, there will be my gameplay. Nothing special about this gameplay. You may see me do well, you may not. This is just, my experience and the weapons I use and the characters I use. So this is something that, you guys can take a look at and see. This isn't really edited to the point where it's only showing my greatest moments. So if you see me dying a couple times in a row, that is real. It doesn't necessarily indicate my skill level on Call of Duty, but I wanted to more so give you guys something that you can look at that is worth watching, and also, something that isn't, altered, so you can actually see how this game plays. So the first thing I want to talk about is the good things, what I like about the game. Well, the first thing is this does feel like Call of Duty. If you are an avid Call of Duty gamer, you'll know that some Call of Duties don't necessarily feel like it, and it's not necessarily always translating into boots on the ground. World War II was boots on the ground, but honestly, I only had that game for a couple months. It kind of lost its steam. I didn't really like it too much. Black Ops 3 was probably, I would rank Black Ops 3 in my top 3 games of all time. But beforehand, when they announced the game and the specialists, you wouldn't have thought that the way I was talking. I did not think that game was going to be great, but it actually was. So a lot of that feeds over into Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 is not a complete overhaul. It's more of an enhancement from Black Ops 3, which it should be. But it has plenty of stuff to keep you entertained. But the most important thing is it still does feel like Call of Duty. Now, what I like about Black Ops 4, in addition to it feeling like Call of Duty, is that the matches do not feel rushed. So a lot of the times when you play Call of Duty, we had got accustomed to the 75 kills in Team Deathmatch, and then most of the time they'll eventually come out with an update bumping it to 100. Starting off, that's kind of what I felt with this game. So I was like, man, we're going to need to increase the points. People are dying too quick. But as I started to notice, these matches actually feel a little bit longer. I think from my stats, me and my people that I play with are running about 7 minutes and 37 seconds a match. So, I would say that it really still feels pretty long. But it doesn't feel like, you're not going to be able to get enough kills. It's nicely paced. Another thing that this game does well is bringing back classic maps. So there's 3 distinct maps that if you've played the first Black Ops, you'll definitely feel at home. You get back Summit, which is basically like almost like a ski resort or snow resort or some type of snow map, which is, I would say, about a medium-sized map. It's not the largest map on the game, but it's definitely one of the most fun maps on the game. So they bring back Summit. They bring back Jungle, which is a big map that me and my guys that I started playing with really loved. In a map like that, people just tend to go to the same areas. Don't matter how many different lobbies you go into. You just have those maps where people just migrate. It's not necessarily like Nuketown, where on any part of the map you really can get busy. It's really that back part of the map with the villages and the huts. So they have Jungle, they have Summit, and then the final map is Slums. Slums is probably the biggest, I would think so, between the two. If not, it's going to come real close to Jungle. Slums is a great map because I feel like any part of the map you can really get down to you know, but I definitely like Summit. Probably going to be my second favorite to Jungle and then the Slums. But all three maps you can't go wrong with, and it's great that they brought them back as part of the original game and didn't necessarily make them DLC. Now, I haven't really taken a look into what you get with Season Pass, but my gut tells me that they'll be adding more classic maps to Black Ops 4 over the course of the year. I'm willing to bet that Nuketown will make its triumphant return, because that's probably the best map on Call of Duty, period, next to Rust and, other maps that people are going to like. For me personally, I would say Nuketown is probably my favorite map in all Call of Duty series, and then comes Rust, because just how small it is and the chaos you can cause on it. But then I love Afghan on Modern Warfare 2. So, those are the things that we kind of look at when it comes to, what maps are going to be great. And I truly think that Treyarch, if they're smart, I'm pretty sure Season Pass has already been kind of laid out, but if they're smart, they'll include some more classic maps from Black Ops 1 or even Black Ops 2. Next, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the things that I don't like about the game. I'm going to be as fair as possible. This, of course, like I said at the beginning of this video, is just strictly my opinion, but I'll go into detail as to why these things are not necessarily on my favorites list. The first thing is, so if you've played Call of Duty with me, if you play with me now on PlayStation 4 or Xbox, my gamer tag is called Sticky Gawd. Sticky Gawd, Gawd. So Sticky Gawd is my gamer tag. The reason why my name is Sticky Gawd is because a couple of people that I play with, of course, we've played together so long that they know that I have a preference for the Semtex grenade. I'm pretty accurate and good with the Semtex grenade, and so the nickname Sticky Gawd kind of stuck, and then I actually made it into my gamer tag. Well, on this game, technically there is no Semtex grenade in the equipment slot. You have frags still in the game, but the Semtex option is not there. Now, for most people, they probably don't care, but for me, this is like the biggest blow of all of the features that they could have missed out or just, dropped the ball on. There's no Semtex grenade on this game. And for me, it's very tough simply because whenever I'm playing a map and let's say I start noticing camping or they're like the hold up and head glitch on certain, I like to be able to and it'll destroy the other team's players. Well, that's not. Adjusting to not having a Semtex, and I've become pretty good at the grenade. Well, the downside to that is that there's let's say that I'm playing a map and then I went on three guys or a camp. I know exactly where they're at. But on Semtex, I don't know how I need to throw the grenade. Well, if I die and I've already used the grenade once, doesn't mean when I spawn again I'm gonna have that grenade. I still have to wait some time before I get that first grenade back. Not something absurd like 3 minutes or nothing like that, but it's about a good 30 to 60 seconds for it to come back. And that really does alter my game on how I play. So now I have to be more aware and even more, cautious on when I throw the grenade, because I'm treating it as if I'm not going to get another one anytime soon. So with but I'm using battery and whole awareness and stuff. So that's the first thing. Necessary kills, we started getting towards the point system. Now, that thing, the Hellstorm missile, that is a glorified Predator missile that has been upgraded. Probably the best score streak on that game for the amount of points that it's requiring, which I believe is 700 points. So it's about 7 kills. So, I feel like that is essentially for the UAV too much. And then care packages, right? Care packages, I'm not necessarily upset about how many kills it takes to use them. It's how long the chopper takes to deliver the care package. I had a friend that it literally took about 30 to 45 seconds for the chopper to not only arrive, but to drop the care package in time for him to get it and not be ambushed, and of course, for the spawns to not switch. And that leads right into the next dislike that I personally have with this game, is that it seems that they're once again dropping the ball on the spawns, and it's a lot of revenge killing going on, whether it's intentional or unintentional. People are spawning with the other team, not necessarily near the other team, with the other team. I know on a couple of occasions, especially early on when playing the game, I would spawn with the other team right in front of me. Now you may say, well, boss, that's great for you. Yeah, but not necessarily when everybody turns around and then they gun you down. It's more frustrating knowing that you could have had 5 or 6 kills, but how are you going to do that? By the time you kill one, the whole team's going to turn around, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. And then probably you're going to spawn again near them, and they're already aware. And so now you just basically took 2 kills without getting one. So that's something that they can definitely fix. You guys, I would say the final thing that I dislike about the game, and you guys may agree with me, this is the newest addition to the multiplayer experience, and that's having to heal yourself. Like, that is so far away from what Call of Duty has been accustomed to, is healing yourself. So now, as a gamer, and I mean, it's great as a gamer, you have to adjust, and you have to just, the times are changing, and it's actually good for you as picking up a skill, because now you have to change the way you play. But it's not what we're accustomed to also, so it is a big learning curve. It's something as simple as you may say, well, just have to press the LB button or the L1 button to heal now. It's no biggie, right? And the cooldown time is pretty quick. It's only mere seconds between that bar filling back up, but those mere seconds can really cost you. So you have to be strategic on when you actually use the health boost, or the actually refilling your health. So I would say with that, the biggest challenge is just getting used to doing it. There's been times where I'll kill somebody or I'll get shot and I'll keep going about my day, and I stop and I see, okay, my person's breathing real heavy. I'm hearing a heartbeat. Okay, I have to heal myself, because we become so accustomed to shooting. Okay, we're hurt. We'll heal back up while we're running around or whatever. So that is, I would say, my final dislike about the game, is that having to heal yourself has been thrown into the game. My honest opinion is that we won't see it again on another Call of Duty. I think people are definitely going to voice their opinion, and especially if they're trying to go back to more of a modern warfare style of gameplay, which is what I think next year's Call of Duty is going to be. We've kind of went back to World War II. We've gone back to Black Ops 3. It's inevitable that they just need to make another Modern Warfare, which I personally believe will be a hit. It's going to feel right there in the middle. It's going to feel like, you have your Black Ops feel. You're going to feel like you have your World War II feel in some sense. But also, it's going to feel like some of Call of Duty's biggest selling games, which is the Modern Warfare series. So that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to when it comes to, the next few years of Call of Duty. So those are the things that I like and dislike, guys. I would say my overall opinion of guys is that, we're deep into this, right? I mean, if you think about the multiplayer aspect of it, things really started shifting about 10 years ago when Modern Warfare 2 came out. I believe that was just the shift in any first-person shooter multiplayer game. And, things have just consistently got better. But at the end of the day, things also have started to get worse. We hit a rough patch when we went to Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare probably, in my opinion, is the second worst Call of Duty of all time. I could not get great at that game. It didn't feel like Call of Duty. It was a long year. And then they followed it up with Infinite Warfare. Came out after, I believe it was Ghost. I can't even remember the timeline of that. But when Infinite Warfare came out, that is the first Call of Duty that I never bought. I played the beta. The beta was enough for me to make my decision, and I didn't even pay to get Infinite Warfare, even though I wanted the Modern Warfare remaster. That's how bad I felt that game was, and I didn't want to give them my money for it. I felt like it was just way beyond what Call of Duty started and planted its roots in. Now, I know you guys who may be newer gamers, or even some of you old heads, they say, well, times have changed. You got to kind of go with the flow. Listen, I get it. Definitely, I don't expect things to be like it was back in 2008, when you can run around all day with an AA-12 and Commando Pro and knife people from across the map. I understand that. But Call of Duty became popular, I think, simply because of the way that it played. Because think about it, Battlefield was still competing with all of the Call of Duties back then. And although the Battlefields were great games, most people, when they played Call of Duty, they wanted that quick, fast, action-packed game that felt boots on the ground. And if you wanted something more, something with longevity or something more realistic, then you would go over to Battlefield, and you kind of had that blend of gaming versus realism. And I feel like we've gotten away from that. So seeing how Black Ops 4 comes in and how it plays is definitely a sign of fresh air. Still a little bit futuristic, still adjusting to using specialists versus, just having your own characters and your own moves. But definitely, it's something that I'm willing, as a gamer, as somebody who loves this series, is willing to adjust to. I mean, this Call of Duty probably has offered the most than other Call of Duties in the past from a gameplay perspective. You have Battle Royale, which is new to the Call of Duty series. This is something that they took a risk on. But Battle Royales, they're not necessarily new. They're just becoming more popular, and you can't blame Treyarch for wanting to take advantage of a game mode that's popular right now and to put its players in it and not actually charge us, which is great to be able to play Blackout. So, it has its own unique gameplay style. I like it. I'll probably play it a little bit more. Multiplayer is going to always be my go-to, but it's nice to have that. It's also nice to not necessarily have a campaign mode, but have something more of a, background into the specialist. And then of course zombies coming back. That zombies has always, been something that you play with your friends, especially when you're kind of tired from multiplayer, that you can kind of get lost into for hours, and before you know it, it's morning time, and you've played all through the night on the zombies. So, these are the modes, and these are the things that these game makers are supplying to us, and I feel like now we're getting more bang for our buck. So now when I look at going to get a season pass, I feel like I'm actually getting more instead of them holding back and then giving me what they should have gave me and then so I do think that the future of Call of Duty is going in a positive direction. I think that if they can continue to listen to the players, old and new, they'll continue to gain a perspective that is going to help them out long term. Um, this is to be a gamer in this world. Things have changed so much, and it's great to have the opportunity, to have these game makers listen, because you don't have to settle. A lot of them. Game. If you guys would love to play with me, definitely hit me up. I have a PlayStation 4 as well as an Xbox One, but the Xbox One is my go-to system. I buy 99% of my games for that system, and only PlayStation exclusives for the PS4. My gamer tag is Sticky, STICKY, space Gawd, GAWD. Send me a message if you want to hop on and roll with the squad. We can play. We can talk about some of these YouTube videos that I do. We can talk about a future YouTube video. You can just share your opinions on what you thought about this game or what you think about this game. I appreciate you guys for dropping in on the channel. Games, we can talk about a whole bunch of different things. This is your place to be when you want to do that. So I appreciate you guys for dropping in and taking a look at this video. And of course, be sure to follow me on Instagram. My tag is Mr_CEO_87. And you can also follow me on Twitter. And my Twitter handle is no_ceiling_87. Appreciate you guys for dropping in. You take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Cluster's ready. Cluster grenade. Enjoy. Ammo pack right here.
Smoke check.
Last person on my location.
Cluster grenade going out.